Ukraine's spiderweb operation is rewriting the rules of warfare. AI-powered FPV drones, thinking on their own, are the game changers. No GPS needed. LiDAR and vision systems guide them to targets. Developed by Brave One, these drones launch from disguised mobile units. Autonomously, they reach deep into Russian territory, up to 300 km. At just $10,000 per mission, they're a cost-effective strategy. This isn't the future. AI is reshaping the battlefield today.
Quote, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Arthur C. Clarke, yeah.
Well, maybe in today's world, it's indistinguishable from a major strategic shift. Let's unpack this.
Okay.
Today we're doing a deep dive based on reporting from sources like Mint. It's about a really significant development, an alleged AI drone attack by Ukraine, apparently operating way inside Russia.
Right.
If it's true, this is, well, unprecedented. So our mission here is to give you the clear picture, what reportedly went down, the kind of tech involved, and importantly, why this matters. You know, for understanding modern conflict, maybe even for folks prepping for exams like the UPSC mains, or just anyone wanting to stay informed.
And the Mint report paints a pretty striking picture. This operation, allegedly codenamed Spiderweb, overseen by President Zelensky himself, according to the source.
Right.
It reportedly resulted in destroying at least 40 Russian planes.
Yeah.
And the method, highly unconventional.
40 planes, wow. That's not just a dent, that's a serious blow. And how they supposedly did it. That's where the real kind of innovation seems to be. The report says these drones weren't launched from Ukraine, not in the usual way.
No.
Apparently they were released remotely from these covert sort of wooden mobile houses transported on trucks parked inside Russia.
Which points to a really interesting tactical change, doesn't it? Using AI-powered FPV drones, that's first-person view.
Okay.
It means they blend that initial pilot's view with autonomous smarts. These aren't just simple RC toys. The AI, as the source describes it, lets them do much more.
So wait, the AI is processing video in real time to dodge things, find a target, without constant human control after it's launched.
That seems to be the idea, yes. According to the report, once they're released from the system developed by Ukraine's Brave One tech cluster, it says these smaller drones can operate over a significant range and, crucially, find and hit valuable targets like planes or air defense systems on their own.
Okay, and this is where it gets really, like, next level. The navigation. The source is stating these drones operate without GPS.
Right. No GPS reliance. That's a huge deal.
Huge.
It makes them way more resistant to jamming, signal loss, the standard countermeasures against drones or missiles. The report mentions something called a SmartPilot system. Yeah, using advanced visual inertial navigation.
Visual inertial. Okay, break that down for us. What does that actually mean in simple terms?
Well, think of it like this. Instead of asking a satellite, where am I? The drone looks around with its camera, sees landmarks or just the general scene, and combines that with data from its internal sensors, how it's moving, tilting, accelerating.
Okay.
It constantly figures out its position based on what it sees and how it feels itself moving, like navigating by sight and memory. And the source says LiDAR might be involved too.
LiDAR, like for 3D mapping.
Exactly. For precise 3D mapping, really helpful in tricky environments, close to the ground or around buildings.
So the core concept here, based on Mint's reporting, is this kind of layered deception, right? Launching from deep inside, plus navigation tech that ignores GPS jamming and is hard to track conventionally.
Precisely. That combination just bypasses a lot of traditional thinking about defensive depth. Distance becomes less of a shield.
And it allows for these potential strikes against really strategic assets far behind the lines, like those Russian Tu-95 and Tu-22 M3 bombers and the A-50 warning aircraft that were reportedly hit.
Yes, at air bases, surprisingly far from Ukraine. The report even mentions attacks on airfields over 4,000 kilometers away. That confirms the capability for, well, very deep strikes indeed.
Well, and the cost. We have to talk about the cost. The Mint report mentions a figure that's just startlingly low, around $10,000 for a mission.
Yeah, per mission with this system. Compare that to a missile launch. The report notes it could be 300, maybe 500 times more expensive.
Wow.
So it's an incredibly cost-effective way to achieve precision strikes. You can potentially take out multi-million-dollar assets without burning through your own expensive, limited long-range missiles.
Okay, so let's boil this down for everyone listening. Key takeaways from this deep dive based on the source. This reported spiderweb operation suggests covert strikes launched from inside enemy territory are possible. Using these revolutionary AI-powered FPV drones. The game changer is that they navigate without GPS, using things like SmartPilot, visual data, maybe LiDAR.
Making them tough to jam.
Right. And they do it incredibly cheaply compared to missiles, hitting major strategic targets like bombers and AWACS planes over huge distances.
And stepping back, what's really significant here, especially if you're tracking current affairs or studying for exams like the UPSC, is what this tells us about modern warfare.
Oh, it's changing.
Exactly. How autonomous, cheap tech that doesn't need vulnerable systems like GPS can potentially challenge established defenses. It can reach places thought safe because they were far away or heavily protected. It really forces a rethink on defense and technology.
It really does, and it leaves you with a pretty potent thought, doesn't it, based on this reporting? If strategic targets deep inside a country can be hit this affordably without traditional navigation, what does that spell for the future of security? For military planning globally? Something to chew on.
Definitely food for thought.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into this fascinating and potentially pivotal development. If you found this useful for your general knowledge, maybe your UPSC prep, do give us a like and subscribe for more analyses like this.
And please leave a comment below if you have questions or other topics based on source material you'd like us to explore.
Thanks for joining us today.